Music, dance, theater. It's time to take a seat on the aisle with Tom Alvarez. Hear from performers, producers, presenters, and creators who enrich our lives in the performing arts. Who's on stage? Here is Tom Alvarez to introduce you.
Hello, and welcome to On the Aisle with me, Tom Alvarez. My guest today is actor, singer, dancer, producer, director, and arts administrator, Don Farrell. Join me now as I go on the aisle for a conversation with Don. Welcome to my podcast, Don. This is really going to be a lot of fun. I love to have people on that I know because, there are so many things that we could talk. So let's have a nice chat.
Let's. Great way to start out the year, wouldn't you say?
Mr. Don Farrell is my guest today. Don, oh my, what can I say? To list a few of his hats, he is an actor, singer, dancer, director, producer. Are you a recording artist too?
I've done a little bit of recording.
Yeah.
Love to do more of that. I tell you, it's always fun doing that stuff.
And the people who listen to the show know that I know a lot of people because I've been around for 45 years in this market. So, I've crossed paths with everybody because of the hats I wear.
Oh my gosh. Have you counted how many hats you've worn there, Tom?
But for the most part, a lot of it has to do with the fact that I'm a reviewer. So I have seen a lot of work during my years, and I believe I have certainly seen my share of your body of work as an actor during your Indianapolis years. But let's start by giving my listeners a thumbnail, a brief sort of overlook of your career.
Oh my gosh. When I was 3, no. I went to University of Cincinnati College, Conservatory of Music, graduated with a BFA in music theater. Even before that, I went to an inner city school, magnet school for the performing arts at Northside School of the Arts in Atlanta, Georgia. That's where I grew up. And that's where I realized that performing was something I wanted to see if I was any good at, to really maybe pursue this as a career. And that's what led me to University of Cincinnati College Conservatory. And then after that, went to New York City and was working in New York City from 1991 up until the year that I moved here in 2005.
I want to add real quick for those listening that Cincinnati Conservatory has turned out a whole slew of people who've gone on to become big names. Right?
Yeah. It's amazing. All my colleagues and classmates there. And now, get this, when I was there as a student, the department head, Dr. Aubrey Berg, his first year was my first year, my freshman year. And then he recently retired, I don't know, about 5, I can't remember how many years ago. And then a classmate of mine, Vince DeGeorge, who was a classmate in musical theater, is now the department head at Cincinnati Conservatory for music theater. It's amazing how the circle. And
I'm sure you kept track of a lot of your classmates.
Yeah.
And, you've had your share of Broadway stars, including one who was on this podcast recently and who just came off of headlining Yuletide celebration, Ashley Brown.
Yes, Ashley, what an amazing talent.
Yeah.
She's been, given so many gifts.
For those who don't know who she is, she originated the role of Mary Poppins and has done her share of Broadway stuff, big concert star.
Yeah, the Bearcats at UC are very proud of Ashley.
So, and so your Cincinnati years were fruitful?
Very, yeah. Mm-hmm. I was really, really blessed. I got to meet some amazing friends, and it's a gift to know what you kind of want to do early on in life. So when you do go to college, you're just a sponge trying to soak up as much as you possibly can. Mm-hmm. And the challenges of learning the craft in a conservatory setting, there was no. I was actually accepted under a scholarship for music ed. And I was thinking, that'll be my insurance policy. I want to, I'll teach. It is so hard. The music ed programs. My hat's off to all of our music educators out there. I don't know what I was thinking I could do a double major with music ed and music theater. That is insane. Yeah. So I took a gamble and wanted to focus more on musical theater. And that's where it's led me to here, speaking with you now.
How is it that you chose Cincinnati, coming from Atlanta? I'm sure you did your due diligence.
Yeah, my parents were so supportive of me. I applied at University of Georgia. I got a full ride scholarship to do theater at UGA, but all of my friends were going to go to UGA. And UGA is known for being a pretty big party school. And I guess my dad just instilled a little bit of sense in me where I was like, am I going to really get a lot of studying done? I applied at Florida State University at FSU and their music program there. Got a scholarship there, but my dad and I took a trip down there to tour the campus, and it was a beautiful sunny day, and girls were in bikinis throwing frisbees together on the green lawn. I was like, this is not going to go well. I just, so then we took a tour at University of Cincinnati, actually Rochester, Eastman School of Music. I was looking at that as an amazing music education program as well, but they didn't have theater. They had music theater. And that was the thing that kind of made me go, I don't know about that, even though Eastman's such a highly reputable. But University of Cincinnati, that had all of the things I was looking for. And when I toured that with my dad, it was a gray, cold, rainy day. There were no ladies out on bikinis throwing a frisbee. Yeah. I was like, I think I can get. And I love the campus of University of Cincinnati. Right there, the river nightlife for Cincinnati has grown so exponentially since I was a student there.
Being so close to Lexington, you weren't too far from your southern roots.
No, that's right. That's right.
So, you were born and raised in Georgia?
I was born in Chapel Hill, North Carolina.
Really?
Yep, my family was all from Winston-Salem.
Cities.
Yeah, beautiful. That's another beautiful campus too.
No kidding.
UNC. And I was supposed to be born in Durham, North Carolina. Durham, yeah.
White Lotus.
What's that?
What's the favorite line in White Lotus that got all this attention? What was her daughter's name?
Oh, my goodness.
And they had that Durham accent down.
Right. Oh.
I love that accent.
Yeah.
You're an actor. You could do it.
It comes out that when I talk to my mom or my brothers, or I'm tired, or maybe had a beer or two, I get that little southern drawl.
Come back?
Yeah, it comes back a little bit. My freshman year in college, we sat around talking, introduce who you are, where you're from.
Yeah.
And hi, my name is Don Farrell. I'm from Roswell, Georgia. And they were like, we're going to work on that.
Cincinnati get rid of that accent?
Made
they
it
work at it, though, don't they? They help actors.
The Midwestern accent is good and neutral enough to where, as broadcasters, it's kind of has that neutral tone,
and I'm
style.
Sure I've seen you in some show where you had to carry a southern accent.
Oh, yeah. Alabama Story as Senator Higgins. He was from, Yep, that was fun. Great play too, boy. Kenneth Jones, great play. We got to do the Indiana premiere of that play at Actors Theater of Indiana, and
Actors Theater of Indiana. That is probably how we know each other. That was where we first encountered each other. You, along with Cindy Collins, and currently the artistic director, Judy Fitzgerald, were the co-founders of Actors Theater of Indiana. And that is, in itself, is a pretty remarkable story. So for those who've never heard it, briefly describe that journey.
It stemmed from Judy and Cindy and I knew each other when we were living in New York City during that stint between 1991 and 2005 when I was living in Manhattan. And I got to meet those two. Cindy was my, we were dance partners in shows in North Shore Music Theater in Beverly, Massachusetts. And I got to know her that way. And Judy, we were doing different shows. Anyway, fast forward to I was doing my hometown, Roswell, Georgia, where I grew up from first grade on.
Roswell?
Roswell,
I
Georgia.
had a brother who lived in Roswell.
Is that right?
There. Oh, yeah.
How about that?
Sure.
Oh, my gosh. So you're familiar with Roswell,
yeah.
right? All the history and
my
the
best
antebellum
friends
homes and everything.
My best friends are Decatur
Uh-huh.
and so on and so forth. Yeah.
Oh, man.
I love Atlanta.
Yep.
Hotlanta.
Hotlanta. Did you ever shoot the hooch? Did you ever go down the Chattahoochee River?
I can't say I have, but I visited the Margaret Mitchell Museum.
Uh-huh. Yep, a lot of history down there in Georgia. Yeah, so
Stone Mountain, too. My brother lived there, too.
oh my gosh.
I love Georgia. I love the history there.
Yeah.
The whole field.
It was a really cool place to grow up, and there's a professional theater company called Georgia Ensemble Theater.
Yes.
And had my very first professional directing job of Forever Plaid back in 1998 of a show that's a show that I had done in Las Vegas. I had directed national tours of, blah, blah, blah. Forever in, forever plaid, they used to say about me. Yeah. And so through that experience, I got to know Bob and Anita Farley, who were the husband and wife team, but they also they founded the theater company with some other people. And that show did well, where they were like, we want you to direct something else. And the next one was a show called The Taffetas, by Rick Lewis, and which is kind of like the female version of Forever Plaid. And they asked me to direct and choreograph, and I was like, oh, well, and Judy and Cindy would be perfect in that. And so I cast them in that, and that did well. So work begets work. Plaid to Taffeta Christmas, to Grand Night for Singing, to My Way, to all these different shows, tintypes that I was directing for Georgia Ensemble Theater. And then I would ask Cindy to choreograph, and we'd kind of work together as a team. Judy Bennett too, and assistant director or something like that. And we grew kind of where we were all just trained as performers. This gave us an opportunity to be more of a leader in the creative world on putting together productions, and that was going really well. So that work opened up outside.
In
Eventually, yeah. Actually, directors, choreographers, which led us to producing when we finally took the.
And of course, okay, I'm getting ahead of it, but eventually you learned arts administration too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. And so Bob and Anita were our mentors, and if it weren't for them, I had just finished directing, and Cindy choreographed My Way, a musical tribute to Frank Sinatra, which was our very first show that we did for Actors Theater of Indiana. And when we closed the show, we were actually going to open with Forever Plaid when we launched ATI in 2005. But since we had just finished doing My Way, and Bob and Anita were just going to throw away the set, and I was like, what would you think if can I buy it? And they were like, you don't have to buy it from us, just take it off our hands so we don't have to pay for the dumpster. So I rented a U-Haul truck, and we loaded, after we closed the production of My Way, we loaded it onto the truck, the set, and I drove it up to Georgia, up to Indiana, and put it in my garage. And it stayed there until we were able to open the show.
About foresight.
It was a gamble, and we were just trying to be, thrifty, and let's come, good old Judy, and let's just put on the show. We got a barn, let's put on a show. Sure. But that was one heck of a barn, because we started with our very first production at the Zionsville Performing Arts Center, and that's a beautiful. The high school. I mean, I didn't grow up with those type of performance venues as a high school student, and here, I mean, it's a luxury, all of these. I mean, 1,600 seat. They are. They're huge. Yeah, that was my first experience. I was like, this is what the high schools have?
But they are also in counties where there's a lot of wealth and
that's
support
true
for public schools.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why people move to those places. Like
Carmel all over the place, constantly. We're still. And it was nice to see, backing up a little bit, when the foresight to get to start Actors Theater of Indiana, Judy and Cindy and I were talking. It was like, well, let's, if everybody else is thinking about us to do the big season subscription renewal campaign, end of the season musical, if they're going to believe in us, why don't we believe in ourselves and try it out? So, and 9/11 was the reset button to kind of cause a rethink as to what's important, And of course, we went through that during the pandemic. Another reset button. Everybody has their moments where they, how does that affect you? How does that make you reassess what's really important? What are your goals? Maybe you should get going on your goals a little bit sooner rather than later, since life is so short, and just being proactive on that type of stuff. And Judy and Cindy and I took that leap of faith with the support of all of our parents, which were, God bless them, Judy's parents, Cindy's parents, my parents, and we had our own little bit of savings, and we made that plunge, and through family members, friends of Judy's, because she grew up here. She went to North Central High School, and we were able to meet with Mayor Brainerd, who was mayor at the time, as you know, and he shared with us his vision for what he saw. And I even tell him, I saw Jim just over the holidays, and I said, he brought it up. He goes, yeah, you didn't trust me when we met first. I was like, well, I appreciate what you were saying, but you're a politician. I don't believe politicians. And then lo and behold, everything he was talking about, he was true to his word. And now the city of Carmel and really central Indiana is able to enjoy the wonderful additions that Carmel has been able to provide.
This story is similar to experiences I've had. This is I always say that Central Indiana is a great place to do a startup. Mm-hmm. All the ingredients are here. You just have to, you like you guys did. You have to take a risk, but theater is risky anyway.
It is.
Performing arts.
Yep.
You can't, if you're going to be wealthy, don't count on the performing arts performer or whatever, especially if it's not for profit. But my point is that you guys you were dreamers, but you surrounded yourself. Brian Fonseca, our dear friend,
what a great visionary
Brian
as well.
Fonseca always said you can't lose if you surround yourself with the right people, and you guys did that.
Yeah.
You had a board of directors, did you not?
We did.
You had your parents.
Yep, they were
your inner circle.
Yep.
And they helped you get the thing off the ground. Gave you like the funding initially, right? Mm-hmm. I want you to know, by the way, Cynthia and Cindy and Judy are both on the show, so your story is consistent.
Oh, good. Okay, good. This is good.
I never tire of hearing about it. I mean, and then latching on to Jim Brainerd, and Nancy Heck was on the show.
Nancy, what a amazing woman.
She was alongside him those 10 years and or 20 years, and she talked about, got some insight into that vision of his.
Yeah.
And you were part of it.
Well, and you know what I love about one of the things.
Before he even met you, you were in his vision. The theater, right?
Yeah.
It was the theater. In that little space.
In that little space, yeah. And I don't think, I know, well, obviously the Palladium was always part of the plan. And then the Tarkington. But I think the studio theater came because there was so much desire of arts organizations to be a part of the Center for the Performing Arts in there in Carmel. Mm-hmm. And so I think that ended up being an addition to the plan eventually, not at the very initial state. Yeah. I think it was just going to be two. I may be wrong on that, but for some reason there's a little voice in my head saying that it might have come back.
Or was it also meant to be initially like a cabaret?
Yes.
Michael Feinstein was the artistic director, and they thought he might be involved.
Yes, and still is. I mean, it's a flexible space that can go into cabaret setting. It can go into thrust, which is what ATI for many, many years was known as kind of like our I don't know, just part of our brand, I guess, was having it in the thrust configuration, but also in proscenium, and then it even has the ability to go in the round.
Classic black box.
Yep, classic black box. And I've always wanted, back then I was like, it'd be really cool to find a good piece that would be right in the round. But, just it's always a trick doing the other side. You have the artistic side of your brain, and then you have the producer side of the brain.
Did you ever do in the round?
Nope. I just couldn't make the numbers. You gained more seats.
Physically, could you have?
We could have, yeah, okay, absolutely.
I'm thinking of the shape of the thing. Mm-hmm. Doesn't have to be more square.
It is. It's not really in the round. But it is all on four sides. The audience on four sides. Arena. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And we just couldn't, because every time you change the configuration, there was a cost associated with that because it's labor, So you have to be able to. So in order to validate going into
risers and all that business. Yeah.
And that's a whole day, two full days of work to get that all changed around. So, but we didn't do that. But we created so many different shows in there, and in a variety of spaces all around town until we did have our home at the Center for the Performing Arts. It was nice to be able to play.
I'm uniquely qualified to, because of where I sit in my coverage over the years, that I was very close observer. I've seen so many continuums of myself. I helped Brian, was one of the original board members of the Phoenix Theater. So when I walk into there, it's not new anymore, but when I first walked into this multi-million-dollar space, and for those who've heard me tell the story, again, bear with me, but I'm trying to make a point with you, Don, that you know what it means, that you know what possibilities are. You have lived through a continuum. An idea that started between the three of you, and now you can walk into this Performing Arts Center facility and know that, you guys, it came out of your heads along with other people, right? So, I mean, hasn't that done something for your career? I mean, possibilities. You've been through things. You can make things happen.
You can, yes,
because manifest things.
Absolutely, and really, I attribute that lesson was learned through another mentor of mine named Worth Gardner, and Worth used to run and kind of created the musical theater program at Cincinnati Conservatory. Faith Prince, so many greats under Worth. Well, after he retired from that and went into being a contract director at Birmingham Theater, all around the nation actually, I became an assistant to him, dance captain, actor, whatever. And I remember work at the gym when I was living in Chelsea. And I was at the gym, which is the same gym that Worth would work out in. And if anybody who knew Worth Gardner, he was a bodybuilder type. He had these piercing blue eyes. And when you'd come in and audition for him, he'd actually not sit behind the table, but he'd sit on the table and has arms crossed. And he's trying to figure, looking at a very imposing person. And one time he said to me, he goes, I think I was down because I'd been going through the auditions. I keep getting the no's, and I was like, and I was waiting for something to happen, and he goes, "You know somebody who can do costumes, right?" And I was like, well, yeah, sure. He goes, "You know somebody who can build sets if you needed to, right?" I was like, yeah. And he was like, "If you wanted to, you could put on your own show if you wanted to. You know the people to be able to put together the puzzle pieces. Why don't you shift the way you think? Instead of waiting for that phone to ring, start making the phone calls." And that just that was well before 9/11. So but that was a way of me I never thought of the empowerment. Yeah. We all have the power to be able to make something happen. It's the question of, do we want to do it? Are we willing to do the work? My dad passed away in 2020, and my mom was like, "What do you guys want?" And I was like, I want that sign over Dad's desk. And this is a mantra that I go by, and it's now above my desk. It says, it's a framed thing, and all it says is, "I am not interested in how the job can't be done."
I love that.
There's always a way to figure out how to make it. Just takes a little bit of thinking and ingenuity and people willing to work together to come to find. It may not be the way you initially conceived the idea, but if you put the time and effort in and are able to make little compromises here and there for the betterment of whatever the goal is, and make it as best a win, as many wins that's another thing. My dad worked for IBM, and he said one of the best pieces of advice, and we all know this intuitively, the best type of business deal is when you can put together as many wins as possible, not just for you. It has to be for everybody involved in that deal. And that then is a good deal. That's a good business plan.
Is a very wise man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry you lost him. I remember, we all follow each other on Facebook.
Yeah.
Even though we're not in touch, So, that's been my experience too, but I've learned as well as you have that, you also have to be fearless. Would you agree?
Mm-hmm. You do.
You can't let your insecurities get in the way.
You can't let your insecurities get in the way. You got to have thick skin. You got to stick to if you truly are able to discern that you're doing the right thing for the right reason, and you believe in yourself. If we're doing it for the right reason, right? That's a big caveat there. Mm-hmm. If you're really able to discern that, and regardless of what the naysayers will say.
And also, would you also agree that you have to have a degree of passion? And what do you consider passion? And when it comes to the theater, your work,
what excites you? What gives you? What is the essence of why you do what you do? It's not. I mean, yeah, there's that famous, what is it that we're living for? Applause, applause. Yeah, there's that. There's our ego. We get that.
I was going to bring ego up. It's part of it.
It's part of it.
People who are successful have egos. You should have to keep it in perspective, though.
Exactly.
Right?
And
I can't believe my publicity to the point I think I'm better than people. Right?
Yeah. No.
Whatever.
The moments that really excite me to do what I do with the gifts that I've been given, because it's not me. It's gifts that I've been given. Mm-hmm. And do I choose to use them, and how do I choose to use them? And it's the moments that you've experienced this when somebody comes up to you after a performance and shares a personal story because what you did, what you were able to, I don't know whether it's the line, the character, the song, the melody, whatever it was that touched that person's heart, and they opened up to feel comfortable and safe to share with you something that's really important to them. That's what makes me passionate about what we do.
Our Magic Thread Cabaret, which you're well familiar with, you've been a big fan and supporter of mine and our production company, but we stole it from Michael Feinstein, the tagline, connecting songs to the soul. That's our tagline, but he also talked about the magic thread that exists between the audience and the performer.
Absolutely.
And that it's that connection, that special connection when people walk away feeling inspired by the story you told or the gift of your talent that helped them connect to the emotional,
And that's the beautiful thing about cabaret. You're not really hiding behind a character. You're bringing yourself and the essence of who you are with authenticity.
It's in your face, and it's talk about being in the moment.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Although there are people who can perform in front of 1,600 people, and I've talked about that on this show with people who do both, who love cabaret but who love the big venues, like Ann Hampton Calloway. She talks about what I try to do is give people the same intimacy in whatever space I'm in, make people feel like I'm the only one they're singing to.
I remember when through Roundabout, because I'm also now I'm actor for hire type, but I was doing a job at Pennsylvania Center Stage, part of Penn State University, and I was working with Michael Rafter. He was music directing me in a production of I Love You, You're Perfect, Now Change. We got to know, I found out, that he was the music director for Sutton Foster. Fast forward, ATI, I'm talking to CAA, Sutton's agent, to bring her and present her for her first time at the Palladium.
That's right.
And so that's a big honor that I'm blessed to have been able to.
She's in the news right now because she and Hugh Jackman and the people up at Ball State. Kids up there who were just agog.
Yeah.
He was the talk of the campus.
Yep.
He's up there because he's dating Sutton.
Yep.
She's still on the adjunct faculty up there.
She is. And
when we worked with Bill Jenkins and those folks.
I have. Yeah. Bill's directed many times. Wonderful director at Actors Theater of Indiana. Many productions he's done.
Maybe he'll hear this.
Yeah. Bill, come on. Come on to the show. Come on to Tom's show. By the way, Happy New Year, my friend. Congratulations to all your many, many accolades at Ball State University. Chirp, chirp.
Well, I mean, it's got a national presence.
Absolutely,
right?
It does.
They do showcases in New York and Chicago now, don't they?
Yep. We were. It was a big honor and a blessing to be able to present Sutton's. I remember because we were going to present her at the Palladium, which we did.
I was there.
And I remember talking to Sutton, and she was concerned about it being too she was looking for more of like a 500 seat, like the Tarkington. And I was like telling Michael Rafter, her music director, and my friend, and I was like, and trying to encourage him, I was like, trust me, the Palladium, even though it has that intimacy feel, as you know, and we know, we're so blessed to have such a wonderful venue like that in our backyard. And so she loved, of course, performing there. And after that performance, she took Michael up there to do a master class at Ball State. Then Michael Rafter became adjunct faculty there. So I was like, yep. And I'm like, oh, man, I just feel it's so cool because I learned a lot from Michael. I consider him a good friend as well. And such an honor to be able to do that. And I remember I was trying because I had learned that she was adjunct faculty, and they have a program. I don't know if they still have that program, but I know at the time they did, where the students would write a musical, and they did that with Circus in Winter, the novel based off of Beth Turcotte and all of them. And so I thought, and I negotiated with CAA and Sutton, because even though it's Sutton's show, I thought this would be a perfect fit to be able to elevate their program and that new musical, because I'm a big believer of new work. And sure enough, they were able to agree to, that she performed for a good a stint, and introduced them. They came on stage, Ben and about, I think 2 or 3 other performers, and they did about 3 or 4 songs from Circus in Winter, and then they finished that, and that was a good way to elevate their program and that show, that new work. Then Sutton and Michael came and finished the program. It just made me proud, of which ATI then was able to do a backers audition to raise money for their program, for that show, which eventually had its debut at Goodspeed Opera House after that.
Well, this just speaks to your talent for networking, my friend. Because, I don't miss a thing, and I kept an eye on the way you guys worked, how you worked within the confines of show business, your connections, your New York connections, and the people that you brought to help bring to. I remember in particular, which is one of my favorite memories. I have a photo of me and Cheetah Rivera.
Mm-hmm. That was the next year.
The Actors Theater. Step and Repeat. I treasure that.
Cheetah. I fell in love. Woman was performing, kicking. Still at 80, she and her brother Armando, God rest your soul, Cheetah. What a dear woman. She was like, "Oh, when you come to New York, we'll get together. We'll go have dinner and lunch or whatever." And such a sweet, you want to talk about, obviously theater royalty, right? Yeah. But a down-to-earth, great
when
woman.
I interviewed her, I always am drawn to those people I've interviewed over my career, the ones who literally are the same in person as they are on that stage.
Yep.
Authenticity.
That's it.
Not a role, not an image thing.
Mm-hmm.
What you see is what you got. Did she strike you that way?
Absolutely. The woman, for someone who as iconic as Cheetah Rivera, for her to be, and Sutton Foster has that same quality.
Really?
Having dinner with her when we were presenting her the year before. I think it was the year before, 2 years before. Mm-hmm. I think that was 2013, maybe. I can't remember, 2015. It's all kind of a blur. But down to earth. My daughter, Lizzie, this is a funny story. So this is just a perfect example about how Sutton is. So Sutton and Michael and her fiance at the time. Anyway, we all were having dinner, and Cindy and me and Lizzie, and then we were like, "Oh, hey, Liz," and I think Sutton. It was either me or Sutton asked Lizzie, "Are you coming to the show?" And Lizzie goes, "No, I'm going to go have a sleepover." And that sense of and Sutton thought that was the funniest thing. She was like, of course she's going to go have a sleepover. Who the heck are you? Meaning herself, that self-depreciating type. And I was like, that's a class act. That made me really, I appreciated that.
Okay, well, we're at that point. Well, I was going to bring up Lizzie. Okay?
Yeah.
And, everyone who knows you, Cindy and Judy, know that you all have a very unique.
Yes.
And so let's talk about that, because
Sure.
why not? Lizzie is, her parents are you and Judy Fitzgerald,
Mm-hmm.
who used to be married, and now
Right.
her moms are Cindy
and Judy. Yep.
And the apple does not fall far from the tree, because I understand that Lizzie, I've not seen her perform, but I hear she's gotten rave reviews. So
Oh my
let's
gosh!
talk about her.
I would love to
Proud
talk about
daddy.
my yes. And this past
I've
Christmas,
seen you guys on Facebook, and I've been following her since she was a little girl
Yeah.
on Facebook.
Yeah.
You know.
back when she was born in 2005 when we started Actors Theater.
This kid was born in a truck.
She was. I would walk out on stage to give a curtain speech before a performance of ATI at the Zionsville Performing Arts Center or Pike, and I was carrying Lizzie as she, we all
Judy
adore her.
Perform when she was pregnant.
She did.
Okay.
Yep,
well,
absolutely.
She
was on stage before she made her original debut.
And probably Cindy was in the chorus.
Oh,
or
yep,
supporting her. She was up there too.
Yep,
Wow.
Cindy. We've been performing
That's
forever.
Such a great, yeah.
And this past Christmas, I got to perform 4 performances of my show, A Sinatra Christmas, with Lizzie.
Really?
I had her come up as a kind of like a tip of the hat
I
to
love
Frank and
that.
Nancy. It was Don and Lizzie. And we did numbers, and, people at first, they were like, oh, that's sweet. He's going to bring his daughter up. And then she opened her mouth and sang.
I heard Cindy told me she's got a
She's,
phenomenal
and it
voice.
made, people were like, and afterwards, I'd like to thank patrons because they take time to come out and see me at Feinstein's, and Feinstein's at Hotel Carmichael is where I do shows right now and
We're gonna
have a
talk
partnership.
about that at length. I'm very interested in that.
Sure.
That's why I wanted to get you on here to update.
Yeah.
Update me, and I need to get on the aisle on that.
Yeah, we'll have to have you up there. Yeah.
Okay, so anyway,
But-
where she went to Carmel High.
She went to Carmel High. She was a member of Accents
Of course.
and Select Sound, which I love. I love all of the
Premier
programs
show
up there.
choirs there?
Yep.
Yeah.
And the Select Sound is the a cappella show choir of 20
She a
performers.
soprano, or?
She has her mom's voice. That soubrette alto
She's
type.
a belter.
But man, when she opened her and she was singing, talk about so proud. Not only, she's on the stage at Feinstein's singing, holding her own with my dear talented musician friends performing behind her, and there's just this sense of family and pride and all the warm feels that you want during the holidays. We were able to achieve that, and that was a gift for me, Yeah, so she's a junior at IU. Go Hoosiers. They did pretty well.
Theater program or music?
She is a double major in psychology and theater. Yeah.
So she's being wise and something to fall back on.
Uh-huh.
What does she want to do with the psychology?
She wants to figure out her dad. That's where the theater and the psychology come. No, I'm kidding. No, she's. I don't know. She's kind of in that. It's still percolating as to where where that focus comes in as to this is exactly where I want to go, because she's got a couple of variety of different things, plates spinning as to where she wants to let it take her.
A few years back, Anthony Nunziata, who you
Yeah.
know,
What a great voice. He's a nice guy.
He was kind enough to do a master class for Magic the Cabaret, and we brought in the senior class theater department students. 12 of them, 10 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And they all, after that, the next day, they were graduating, going off to New York, every single one of them.
Wow.
But
Exciting
I was
for 'em.
and then I finally got down there to see one of their shows. I had not seen anything down there for years, and I was blown away by the quality of the training. So she's among some great people. Again, like Ball State, they're very competitive, would you say?
Well, and that's this goes back all the way to why we also chose Indiana to start Actors Theater of Indiana. It's not just because we wanted to put on shows, even though that's part of it, of course, right? Because we were all equity actors. And it's not just because the city of Carmel believed in the culture and arts and as an economic driver. It's not just that. It was also, look at this community here of the support of community theaters and the school programs and all, how it showed us that this community in central Indiana truly takes their belief in the power of the arts seriously, because they support it so fervently.
Before we started recording, I think I told you my part of my mission for this podcast was to demonstrate to any listeners, and now I have listeners around the country and even in other countries. I'm fortunate that that's growing. But I love having internet access, because what I'd love to do is spread the word that good art is made anywhere, including Central Indiana.
Absolutely.
So if you're tuning in and you're hearing an actor, director, whatever, you're going to discover that, it's universal. It's not just New York and the major markets where there's good theater,
Right.
good symphony, good opera. It's right here.
Right here.
And so I just want people to, to take a page from what we're doing, and if you have it in your own community, you can make it happen.
You
There
can.
are people, you just need to support them. Right?
Absolutely. After I graduated, true story, after I graduated from Cincinnati in 91, I wanted to stay in Atlanta. Atlanta is a big city.
Oh, yeah.
It's got a lot of theater. I couldn't break into Atlanta. I was like, this is ridiculous.
What do you think
And
about
so,
Go ahead.
and so I took the leap and I went to New York, and I auditioned for a production at the Alliance Theater, and I got cast. And now they have to fly me down to Atlanta and put me up in an apartment. I could have stayed at home and been a local hire. So what was the lesson I learned? Talent does not equate 212 area code or a 10036 zip code. It is where you are. It's the talent is there. This is a community here in Central Indiana. Is ripe with talent. So much talent here.
No one knows that better than me. I'm promoting the fact that Indianapolis has become an entertainment hub.
Yeah.
Between the Palladium, the two cabarets, the Indianapolis Symphony, and now Cluse Hall is becoming real competitive.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talent going in and out of this community.
You mentioned Chita Rivera, and if you remember that performance when we presented her for Under Actors Theater of Indiana, her debut at the Palladium, she walks onto that stage, and her first words out of her mouth before she sings anything, she said, "Carnegie Hall who?"
Yes.
I'll never forget that. This is a woman who's performed at all of the great halls all over the world.
And I can't tell you how many shows I reviewed there where world-class names stood up there and said the same thing. They couldn't believe that this is in the middle of what they were told used to be a cornfield.
Yep.
And Nancy Heck talked about that when she was on the show, how it literally was a cornfield where the Palladium now stands.
And it wasn't easy to build all that, because I remember talking to Jim Brainerd, and he was like, "Yeah, well, you dig down, and you go down 1 foot, you hit the water line. So there was so much infrastructure that had to be done because you had to build."
Really? I
Yeah.
didn't realize
Oh
that.
yeah.
Okay.
So there was one of the that's one of the things.
Remember that it got so much criticism and controversy. This boondoggle, this white elephant, and blah blah blah. And now,
Well, didn't they say the same thing about the Monon Trail?
oh yeah,
It was like, oh, what are you doing? Why are you spending it? Now it's like beachfront property.
it was so much fun talking to Nancy about the whole idea that there's so many naysayers, but Central Indiana, Indianapolis for sure, and I'm sure you remember this, that we had a collective self-esteem problem. And it took outsiders to validate what we all have here. And people who came in from other places and wanted what they had to leave behind, like you, or in New York City and Atlanta. And you learned, well, we could take this to Indiana. And so I think you just said it, but I love asking this question. So what do you think about this long-standing notion that if you were any good, you would be in New York if you were a performer, or Chicago?
I think it's a misnomer. I think, you got to have the talent to do it, but it's not.
You have to be in New York in order to get jobs in Indiana.
Yeah, I lived in New York City, and I worked. One of the things that frustrated my agent, I had an agent for one time because I was just doing I wanted to work.
You did the quintessential thing. You went to New York, a kid, bright-eyed.
Yeah.
Just like, I'm going to be a Broadway star.
And the agent was like, "Don't leave. I want you to wait tables so I can submit you to all the auditions and stuff." And she did, and I appreciated. But if I got gigs on my own, I was going down to Sarasota. Who wouldn't want to go to Sarasota, Florida, on the beach and work as a working
You had to
actor?
work.
I wanted to work. I worked in Pennsylvania. I got gigs in Las Vegas. I was doing Forever Plaid at the Flamingo there. No, you go. Because the way you learn the most, I learned a lot during college, but the most I learned was out in the field doing it. Yeah. You had to learn. You had to learn how to pivot. You had to. Funny, I'd never performed in tours, but I directed tours.
Okay.
Yeah. So I wanted tours. That's like, the touring life. That's one of the things I loved so much about living in New York City, even though the goal was to get a job in New York. But I love traveling the nation and seeing all these great communities and people. And
so, just curious, have you encountered a lot of people you knew in your New York days? Because a lot of those people come through with Beef and Boards and Actors Theater. You guys brought people that you work with in New York, right?
Sure.
And also, there's Beef and Boards and other shows around town where they brought in the Broadway chorus tour or the Broadway tour. Mm-hmm. Do you run into people that you knew?
All the time.
That must be fun.
It is neat. And I'm very proud of my friends who are,
And you
constantly
gave a lot of
doing
work at Actors Theater to old colleagues in New York. Not
Judy,
only actors,
Cindy,
but
me,
designers, right?
Costumers,
lighting.
We just we wanted to mix talent from our friends who were amazingly talented, amazingly talented, combined with the amazingly talented people here in Central Indiana. Yeah. And when we could, we did. We tried to do it, yeah.
And I think everyone does that now, whereas before there was heavy on Chicago, New York. But I think like IRT, for instance, for a long time they didn't cast logo, but now Janet Allen, I think, was instrumental in making sure that it was in the town and gown thing. There used to be that, they don't want to work with us because we're, quote, not equity or whatever. So. But let's talk about your show. Let's talk about the new and improved Don Farrell flying solo. How has that been?
It's been great. I'm constantly humbled by the gifts that I receive. And the generosity.
And the huge fan base that you brought with you, I hope.
Well, there have been some people who evidently like what I did when I was on the stage at Actors Theater of Indiana, and they seem to come over to Feinstein's at Hotel Carmichael, or when I'm doing shows over at Beef and Boards Dinner Theater.
And I saw you there recently, and I did not recognize you.
Oh, is that right? Was that in Tootsie?
Yeah.
Is that what... I played that goofball director, choreographer, quote unquote.
I did not. With those glasses and the whole thing, it took me. I said, "Oh my God, that's Don Farrell." Now that's acting.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's amazing what a pair of glasses can do.
You, Judy, and Cindy. I told you this before. You've read my reviews. You really personify the notion of what a chameleon is. You're honest in everything you do, and I believe it.
Thank you.
Yeah,
that means a lot. I appreciate that.
Personality actors, and there are character actors, but you guys can shift on a dime.
It's I don't know whether it's a byproduct of having all the voices in my head, just giving them an outlet.
For this work, though, you're doing Sinatra.
Yeah.
What are some of the other?
Terry Woods, who was my very first music director, he basically is kind of like a co-founder of ATI. He was our very first music director at ATI, and he was music director also of Beef and Boards, and he was talking about wanting to have some time, and so retiring from Beef and Boards, and I said, well, I'm thinking about starting up my own.
He's your music director?
He's my collaborator and music director,
Cool is that?
And Terry and I have created, let's see, I think I counted 12 shows. We're working on our 13th show that we're going to launch in April of this year at Feinstein's.
What's your company called?
It's called Crossroads Entertainment, and website www.crossroads-ent.com. And it's really started from ATI was doing some soft opening shows at Feinstein's for them to kind of test out before the grand opening when Michael came in April or May of 2021. We were starting to do some stuff in March, and conversation with the general manager and Meg Osborne, who's our marketing development person with ATI, and she was mentioning to Jamie Hopwood, the general manager there, he had talked about having this is a great venue for a Sinatra show, and I'm talking to a guy in Chicago, but it's not working out. And then Meg stands, he goes, well, Don's been singing a lot of Sinatra, so thank you very much, Meg. And he goes, you do? And I was like, yeah, I've been singing his stuff for decades. And I say, you're bringing somebody down from Chicago, you're losing a room, I'm right here in your backyard. You want to give it a shot? And he goes, yeah, I want to. Let's talk. So that's what he envisioned, having a Sinatra tribute show or cabaret going on once a month in Feinstein's.
Isn't that Meg Osborne something else?
She's something else,
okay,
all right.
To be transparent,
yep.
And there's no point in keeping it secret or under the lid or anything, but I'm now associated, my company, we are working with Meg and Brad.
Is that right?
That's
How
right.
about that?
Very proudly so.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear that.
For the same reasons that you're working with her. The woman has a media list of connections that are just out of this world.
Yeah, she
they're
does.
Just lovely.
They're lovely people. Yeah, dear
so
friends.
I think we should give them a shot.
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah, so they really do take care of their people.
They do. They do.
So how has it been working out of Feinstein?
It's been amazing. Again, more and more just blessings. The fear, I was talking to another friend of mine who was going through a tough time, and I talked about trusting to make that leap, whatever the leap is, And there was a leap for me to leave Atlanta and go to New York, right? There was a leap for me to leave New York and come to Indiana. There was a leap for me to leave ATI to start to Crossroads. And all of those things, just you're afraid to do it. But sometimes if you're able to, let go and trust, good things can happen. And I still would love ATI. And of course, come on, I was co-founder with Judy and Cindy. I love ATI. I always will.
Have you been back on the
I haven't yet, but I am going to I'm going to let you know that I will be making my breaking news for you, sir. Because you are my dear friend, and who else am I going to let that out with but you?
Well, I'm like Walt Winchell. So tell me, and I'll get the word.
I will be going back.
Walt Winchell, for people who don't know, he was a famous a theater or whatever. Well, he wasn't a critic. He was just a reporter, an entertainment reporter.
Yep.
A radio. And whatever came out of his mouth was the Bible.
That's
right?
it.
Ag and show business.
That was it. Yep. If Walter said it. So I am going. I've been back in August of 23. I stepped away to kind of really develop Crossroads Entertainment, and I just wanted to get more into performing, less into admin work, and just see. I'm not getting any younger. Let's just see where this goes. And so I'm happy to say that I'm going to be coming back. Judy, artistic director of Actors Theater of Indiana, invited me to come back for their season closer this year of Sunset Boulevard.
Oh, my goodness. What are you playing?
I'm playing Max, so to her, Norma Desmond. Oh, my God. So for those of you who loved our production of Sweeney Todd back in the day.
A German accent.
Yeah, well, I'll be working on my German.
I love that. It's perfect.
Yeah. So I'm really, really excited to do that. And what a great musical that is.
Will you be wearing a lorgnette?
We'll see what we'll see. Yeah, we'll see what the costume designer and director and what we all
about. He's Norma's old director.
Yep.
Her sort of caretaker, whatever. Wow.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool too because that's George Hearn originated that role, and then that kind of has the little, the parallels between Sweeney and Mrs. Lovett, and you got Norma, and you got so.
Well, folks, you heard it here.
It's going to be so. Get your tickets now to Sunset Boulevard. I'm telling you, if you don't have them yet, this is going to sell out.
I always love the stagecraft there because they have that tiny space and they create these worlds. And it's like, how do they do this big musical and put it in that little room? And it works. The designers are brilliant.
We're very blessed.
And I can't wait to see what they're going to do with that staircase.
Mm-hmm.
They got to have a staircase.
Yeah,
it can't be
I can't speak to the design plans yet. I'm not in privy to that yet, but I'm just thrilled to be a part of it. And
Don, were you? Forgive me. Were you in Titanic?
I was not.
Okay,
No.
all right. Well,
But I saw it. I really enjoyed it. It was beautiful.
God, that was one of my top 10 events this year.
Yeah.
That
It was powerful with the choir behind too, arts crowd. And, oh my gosh!
So you went right from ATI. So you didn't like to go through any kind of a grieving thing. Did you have any at all?
It was difficult, but I was creating so many new shows. I mean, it started with Sinatra, all the way Frank, a Sinatra tribute, and then that did so well that they were like, "Well, do you want to?" I was like, "Yeah, let's do something different." I was thinking about Dean Martin, but we went a different way, and I was trying to utilize all those who were inducted in the Great American Songbook Hall of Fame, and so I went to Barry Manilow, and Terry and I created a show about Barry Manilow, and what I call them are docu-cabarets, documentaries
so
and stuff,
quote,
but not
tribute shows.
No, I'm not trying to
you're
be that
capturing
person.
their essence.
Exactly.
You're not impersonating them.
No. I pull the curtain behind, give context, tell stories, interesting anecdotes.
Do you write scripts for these shows?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's that. You want to talk about when you're mentioning about passion. I get excited about that. I love learning. I love learning about
do you do
other
a mix
people.
of like historical facts and anecdotes,
Yep.
or just anecdotes?
No, historical facts too. I mean, I start with the idea that Judy Garland said, "The story of my life is in my songs," and she always said that when she, about her performing. And I thought, wow, that's a great way to utilize the music of the artists that we all know and love, but have the music, if you can, find a way to tell the story of that artist and give people a new appreciation or hear songs in a different way with a new uplifting message or whatever it is, or just context to know what the artist was going through and what inspired that artist. I love biographies. I love documentaries. I always have been fascinated with that stuff. And so what better way became, I always I try to remind people when they're seeing the show for the first time, I was like, you're not going to get a crass impersonation of Sinatra or, whatever. It's just me doing that, and we have a good time with it.
Tell me, has the great promoter and preservationist of the Great American Songbook, the one and only Michael Feinstein, has he seen your show?
Not that I'm aware of. I don't think he's seen any of the shows that I've been doing in his theater
I'm sure
there
he's aware of
yet.
it.
But we've been the blessings are great, and the shows sell out, and it's been doing well.
Taken hold? Because this is my opinion, but it took a while.
Oh, like with anything new.
Took a while.
Sure.
And there was this notion. Well, they're competing with the cabaret downtown, and
No, I don't buy into that. The cabaret does great work. It always has done great work.
Yeah.
Everybody there, they're such top notch, and what they do.
It's a different audience.
It's
too, in some ways.
It's a different thing, and
So, well, for those who haven't been to Feinstein's. Of course, I'm sure you've gone to it's no longer Feinstein's in New York City.
54 Below, yeah.
But for those who haven't experienced the cabaret experience, describe yourself what it's like for those who've never been. Cabaret experience. You step in, you feel like you're not in Indiana any longer when you step into the hotel. First of all, it's just a really very nice hotel, and then you go down the stairs into that's where Vivant is the French eatery, and then there's Feinstein's at Hotel Carmichael. And when I lived in New York City, I was familiar with Feinstein's. I performed there on that stage before. And so I knew when they were saying this is being modeled after that, I'm like, I know exactly what this is going to be. So when I was with ATI and our president of the board, Dan McFeely, was like, you guys, this is coming. You guys might want to think about creating a relationship between ATI and the hotel.
The hotel. I put the emphasis on the wrong syllable. The hotel.
Yeah.
The hotel.
That's very Southern.
Thank you. Yeah, there it is. There's a Southern. And so we started that relationship. But I knew because I
Sure.
performed, I know what
Yeah.
54 Below is.
Sure.
And so but the rest of the community didn't quite know what it was, which is understandable. Just like with anything is new, it takes a little bit of time to get the word out. And so there's always been those type of that growing arc, and I mean, I can't answer to the numbers for everybody, but I know at least in my room, I'm so grateful because
It's an elegant
the house
setting.
is
It's urbane.
133
Beautiful
seats.
art along the
Beautiful
wall,
art.
hand selected by Michael and Terrence.
Yep, great food.
Michael Feinstein and his husband Terrence
Mm-hmm.
Flannery.
Mm-hmm.
All the detail, the glasses, everything.
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 Everything supports the songbook and music. Even if you look at those cocktail glasses, I love that. The 5 lines on it is the staff,
It's
and
a
it's
cross
so.
between sort of New York and Old Hollywood.
It is,
I like to say.
exactly. Yep.
Yeah, it is quintessential for those who've never experienced quote. And you know what? You don't have to spend all that money for plane fare to go to New York City.
No, you
or to
don't.
Nico and San Francisco. It's
Right.
in Carmel, Indiana.
That's
right?
exactly right.
So, where can people find out more about your shows?
You can go to, like I mentioned, my website, which is crossroads-ent.com. That's for Crossroads Entertainment. Or you can go to feinsteinshc.com for Feinstein's at Hotel Carmichael website. Or their telephone number for their box office for Feinstein's is 317-688-1947.
So, tell me this. What is your very next show that you want to plug? The very next show.
The next show that I'm doing let's see. It's a new show that Terry and we're working on a title, but it's to celebrate all of the crooners.
Okay.
So we're kind of riffing off of the Sinatra, but it's not just that. I mean, I want to talk about all the crooners from the days of yore and how it influenced the crooners of today. And so we're seeing how Michael Bublé was influenced by, or Harry Connick Jr., or. And so we'll have a lot of different, Mel Torme, and we'll have, of course, Bing Crosby, but we'll have. I'm just really excited about it.
Put me down. I want to see that.
That's going to be in
Sure.
April. We're going to launch that one in April. I can't remember exactly the date. I have to go back, but but I'm there about twice a month.
Okay.
And like I said, that will be our 13th show that we've created. We have a Neil Diamond show called Sweet Caroline: The Life and Music of Neil Diamond. Did you see the movie recently?
I just saw it.
I just saw it too. What did you think of it?
I just loved it.
I enjoyed
It's
it.
very emotional for me because
Exactly,
of
yep.
course, I'm I've been in recovery many years, and I identified with that part of his story.
Mm-hmm.
But I just loved Jackman's performance, and oh my gosh, Hudson.
Hudson is
She
great.
knocked it out of the ballpark. So
Yeah.
yeah. Well, listen, my friend, we've come to our close here, but
Okay.
I want to thank you for all the years of entertainment and inspiration that you have brought to me as a observer, if you will. I consider myself less a critic. I've heard Cindy said to me, says, "Oh, you're so nice," but I could be a little bit offended by that. I know what she meant, but I'm an advocate first. You know this.
Yes.
A journalist second.
You always have done.
And I don't want to discourage people.
No, yeah.
But I think
But you're discerning. You know what you know what you like.
Yeah, well, I vet too. I don't go to just anything. 'Cause
That
there's
is
only
true.
one of me, and I only
That
have
is
some-
true.
But no, I have really appreciated what you have contributed to the performing arts landscape. And for those who haven't discovered Don Farrell, get online and go see for yourself what we're talking about.
I appreciate it, my friend. I want to thank you for supporting the arts. And like you said, when you surround yourself with good people, and that's one of the things, you are a major asset to this community and the arts community and all the I mean, there's vast amount of experience that you have. So when you say something, people should listen because you're coming from a place of knowledge and experience, and that's
like
so valuable.
Just call me Walter Winchell.
You betcha, Walter.
And with that, thank you again.
Thank you, Tom.
Our thanks go out to our media sponsor, Urban Times. Urban Times is a monthly news magazine which serves as the official newsletter for 15 Indianapolis neighborhoods, offering news about development, arts and entertainment, and from the business community. Thank you for joining me on the aisle. Please subscribe to my podcast, and if you want to hear previous episodes, find them on the All Indiana Podcast Network, or listen to them wherever you get your podcasts. This is Tom Alvarez.
Who will take center stage on the podcast next? Your seat on the aisle with Tom Alvarez awaits. Follow Tom on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and make sure to visit tomalvarez.studio. Watch Tom every other Thursday on Lifestyle Live on Wish TV, and make sure to listen every week here on the All Indiana Podcast Network.